Welcome to my how-to tutorial where we'll cover the basics of the microblogging site Twitter. For this tutorial we'll have several objectives, including being able to set up your Twitter account, also being able to go in, create and edit your Twitter profile, being able to compose various types of tweets and messages through Twitter, and then at the end learners should be able to analyze how Twitter can be used in their various professions. Just a few tips to help you out throughout this tutorial. Be good to go ahead and just go online and pull up twitter.com so you have that accessible as you go through the tutorial. Also, at any time, feel free to stop the tutorial, either to go back and review or give yourself time to apply the steps that we've gone over at Twitter for your own account. And then you might even think about different interests, whether personal or professional, that you might want to talk about in your messages on Twitter. And then ask yourself questions such as maybe who you want to follow, when would you want to tweet. Some people do it on, it seems like a regular basis, almost every hour. Some are maybe once or twice a day. What topics would you want to tweet about? And even how is this going to be applicable to your professional life? Okay, let's take a look at what you'll see in this tutorial. We'll start by getting you signed up and creating your account. Then we'll look at your profile and take some steps to edit and even design your Twitter page. We'll look at a couple of examples of different tweets that you can compose and some of the unique symbols that are used through Twitter in your messages. We'll also look at retweets, what that means and how it works. We'll look at how to add a link to an article or website within your Twitter messages. And we'll also talk about different ways that you can use Twitter, both socially and professionally. And then at the end, we'll look at the assignments that you'll be doing. That'll take all the information that's in this tutorial and apply it into your final assessment. Okay, let's go ahead and join. Start by typing in our name. And we'll enter our email address. And after that, we'll go ahead and type in our password. Now this can be adjusted in the next screen. Go ahead and click the sign up. Now you can see all the information's been entered into the proper fields. The password probably needs to be more secure. So I can go in, add to that. I have my more than 6 characters. So that looks good. Now take a look at the usernames. I could stick with Stephen Post. They give suggestions, or you can come up with something different. I like S Post. And now I create my account. Okay, let's go ahead and edit our profile. So in the menu, click on Profile, go over to Edit Profile. Then you'll see most information is included. We want to take a look at language. Make sure we have the appropriate language selected if you need to make those adjustments. And the same with your time zone. Scroll through, find the appropriate time zone and make sure that is correct. Okay, now let's go look at your profile. Now one of the things that you probably need to add in is your location. So be sure, put your city, state, country. And then we'll look down at bio. And here you have 160 characters, and you can add information that will help other followers, other people on Twitter be able to find you and be able to maybe collaborate on different interests. Okay, after we've gotten that completed, let's take a look at design and see how we can modify our Twitter homepage. So as you see, we have a variety of themes that we can select from. So as we click on different themes, the background changes, some of the text box change. So depending on your personality, your style, maybe even time of year, you can always come back and change your theme depending on what suits you best. Once you've made your selection, go ahead and click Save Changes. Okay, let's look at a couple different kinds of messages or tweets we can compose. In this first message, we're going to use a mention. What we do is we replace the name with the @ symbol in the username. And depending on the type of message you're sending, you could have multiple people mentioned within a tweet. What that'll do is once we go ahead and send that tweet out, it'll make any mention into an active link. So we'll go ahead and click on there, and you'll see bpost is active as a link. I can click on that and then be able to pull up that user profile. So let's look at another kind of message we can compose or tweet that also includes a link. Now this, we have a hashtag that is used to categorize information or topics. Once I send this out, you'll see we have another active link. Hashtags are used to mark keywords or topics within a tweet. It helps to categorize tweets. If I click on this link, it's going to show me all of the tweets that are within this category. May the 4th be with you. The most popular hashtags are often referred to as trending topics. Very beneficial in research when you can click on a link and you can see what other people are discussing about that topic. Now let's look at a different type of tweet, a retweet, also referred to as an RT. This is a time when you would share a tweet that you've seen you like with people who follow you. So in this case we're looking at a tweet from NASA. I find it's interesting, I want to share it. So I click and retweet, and in my timeline that tweet will show up, and so those people who are following me can see that. Maybe those who are interested in cycling would be interested in this one, so I'll retweet here, and that will show up in my timeline. And it's a great way to share information and interest with those who follow you and have similar interest. Now let's look at how to add a link into our tweets. So I found an article that I really liked from eSchool News, but knowing that I'm limited in my characters, I go ahead and copy the URL. I go to tinyurl.com. I'll insert the URL into the box, and it'll shorten it up from 105 characters down to 26. And when you only have 140 characters for a tweet, every character counts. So what I'll do is go ahead and highlight this, hit Control-C to copy, then I'll go back over to Twitter, into my message box here, Control-V to insert that. Once I've hit tweet and it's active, now I have an active link to that article that I can share with the people who are following me. Alright, now that we've explored all the Twitter basics, let's take a look and see how we can use Twitter to our advantage. Okay, so there's actually many uses for Twitter. A lot of people may know it more for your social updating, that you see a lot of actors and athletes posting, but it's also a good way for sharing professional resources. Being in educational technology, I follow a lot of people in that field, and it's good to be able to get resources and insight into different events and topics throughout the country and even throughout the world. So if someone's at a conference and they hear something, or they can cite an article that maybe I wouldn't have had the opportunity to experience, which actually ties into the research aspect of Twitter, where you may go to different hashtags depending on a topic that you're trying to explore, and there might be several people that have been talking about a topic that you're trying to look up information for. It can also be good for a collaborative tool if you know several people that are on Twitter. Maybe you're trying to do a fundraising project for an event, or one way that you might even be able to collaborate through Twitter, seeing how far a particular message can go through your followers and your followers. That's hard to say. And then there's also the business aspect of Twitter. There's a lot of different ways that Twitter can be used through business, and that's what I want to take a look at next. Okay, let's take a quick look at the different ways you can use Twitter in your business. And being able to sell products. If you're a company that posts on Twitter and you've got hundreds, thousands of followers, even 10 followers, if you're selling a product or service, that's one good way to promote that product. Maybe having special deals that are unique to your Twitter followers that can help maybe even expand your base, your client base. That kind of ties into a good marketing campaign of looking for special deals, being able to market products and goods and services on Twitter. And then maybe it's a good way to look for leads. As an individual, maybe you're looking for a job, or you're looking to break into a particular type of industry, or maybe even a region, depending on what you're doing. Twitter can be a good way to kind of get a pulse of what's going on with your followers, depending on what you're trying to do. And then even to find customers. Sometimes, literally, there's a company that will tweet where they're going to be. Koji Korean Barbecue in Los Angeles will tweet where they're going to be, their location, and what time during the day, and that is when they sell their products. And so their followers will look for that update, and when they start selling, they sell until they're sold out. So sometimes that's a good way to find customers, or even have customers find you. So it's a unique way of looking at business through social media, and especially the microblogging, but it can also be a very efficient and a very effective way to do business. Alright, let's take a look at the assignments tied into this tutorial. Some of these things you've probably already gone through already, but you're going to create your Twitter account and update your profile. You're going to compose and publish your intro tweet. Follow along with your classmates on Twitter, and then look to follow 5 to 10 additional people that would be in your field of study. And then as you're thinking about your field of study, how it applies with Twitter, you'll be writing your reflection paper on how you could utilize Twitter in your professional field, especially looking at efforts that would include collaboration and then collecting artifacts. Well, this concludes this how-to tutorial on the basics of Twitter. Good luck with your assignments and your future use of Twitter in your social and professional lives, and look forward to seeing you in our future tutorials. Thank you very much. Happy tweeting.